What I remember most was having to be very still, because we were poling out across the flats, and my grandfather was afraid we'd spook the big bonefish in the falling tide. So I'd stay still as a stone and watch for the shadow of those gray ghosts easing along through the seagrass. And the sun would be as warm as a hand, and I'd think to myself how fine the world is, and how I wanted to be right here in the Florida Keys, at Ocean Reef, forever. I'll never forget the first time my grandfather took me to the reef, in the co-pilot seat of his old Cessna, feeling very much the grown-up, because my grandfather always treated me like a friend and equal, rather than like the boy I was. Going with him to the reef was special, because with each time, our friendship grew stronger. And long after I'd stopped counting the days until Christmas, I'd find myself counting the days until we'd be leaving for the reef. That's how special it was back then. Well, time goes by, you know. It grabs us by the seat of the pants and hurls us into the future. We grow older, challenge the fates, reach for the prize. We dared our will against the world and won. And then here we are again, gliding into the channel on a magic morning, feeling like a boy again, listening to the easy rumble of the diesels taking us home to the reef. There is waiting for each of us a special place our lives have earned, a place where we feel comfortable with the flow of time and the turning of the earth. Not a place to retire, but a place of renewal. A certain province where we can renew our connections to nature and to those we love. Where we can find solitude if we choose, or company with good people who share our values and our view of how the world should be. I found such a place for my family on the northern tip of Key Largo, at Ocean Reef Club. When I was a boy, I thought this place was at the very end of the earth. And even today, it seems as physically remote and removed from the world as it was then. Of course, change has come to the reef since it was the little fishing camp I knew as a child. It's a community now, self-contained and beautifully folded into the environment. There's a chapel and shopping, a library and medical center, all those things a hometown needs. But there are some things it doesn't have, like crime and pollution and traffic jams, unless you count 3 or 4 golf carts all arriving at the 4-way stop at the same time. It's a place safe enough that you can turn your children loose to roam all day and into the night without a moment's worry. You know you can find them with their friends on Buccaneer Island, or on one of the more than 24 tennis courts, or fishing along the seawall. Who are my neighbors here? In a normal day in the life of Ocean Reef Club, you will pass business leaders, CEOs, YPOs in many fields, but you'd never know it. This isn't Palm Beach or the south of France. There are no pretensions, nothing to prove, no facade. Simply a group of families who have achieved, who contribute, who have made their way in the world and are making it still. People who love life and have earned some of its finest rewards. Neighbors from 38 states and 16 countries who could spend their time anywhere in the world, but come to the reef instead. And some of them have been coming for 4 generations. A few live here year-round, but most come when we can. We can stay at the inn or in the villas, or in our own condominiums and homes, surrounded by familiar things and family and friends. Ocean Reef rises from the elemental sea. The sea surrounds you and touches something timeless in the marrow of our bones. Just offshore, the wild tarpon wander from the bayside to the ocean side of the reef. Deeper out, beyond the whistle buoy, roam the gladiators, the sailfish, the dolphinfish, wahoo, and marlin. How strange that we compete fiercely in our daily business lives, and for relaxation come here to compete against a majestic sail or giant marlin for hours on end. Below the silver surface of the Atlantic, in water clear as liquid crystal, is a living coral reef, the only one you'll find in the continental United States. Here, amid an outrageous palette of tropical color, slumber the ghosts of Spanish sailors and treasures yet unfound. Whether on sea or isle, there are few places on earth where I felt so abundantly alive. There's something here that demands motion and challenge. The wind against your face, the lush fairways of one of 3 golf courses beneath your feet. A 7-iron finely struck, a backhand beautifully placed. Ocean Reef Club is an endless parade of things to do, of challenges for body and for the mind. But I've also found a stillness here, a sense of time sliding by on its spiral glide, when there is nothing invading the peace I feel. When I gather my family around me and remember how it was out on the flats with my grandfather. How rare these days that a child can look into his grandfather's eyes and know him as a person, that fathers can get to know their daughters and mothers their sons, that a family can reach across the generations with love and respect and a sense of tradition. Tradition is a powerful and compelling force among the people of Ocean Reef. It is the glue that holds the years together and makes events and times repeat themselves in annual installments. The Reef has many traditions, like the Vintage Weekend, honoring the classic boats and cars of yesteryear, our Reef Cup Sailfish Tournament, the Member Guest Golf Tournament, or parties at Buccaneer Island, to name just a few. The club's traditions bring us closer as families and friends to enjoy each other's company, as together we enjoy the precedents of the past. The day leaves the reef reluctantly, lingering through that magic hour just before dusk. Yet there is promise in the air, fragrant and mysterious as bougainvillea. The promise of friends, the promise of extravagant pleasures for the senses and the soul, dining with family or friends, choosing where to gather for cocktails or dining from among the club's 12 restaurants and lounges almost matches the challenge of choosing what to enjoy. Later, beneath an incredibly clear, star-filled sky, there's the music of the night, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the gentle rustling of the palms, and the soothing sound of the sea. Too soon, it's time to leave for a while. That other world waits beyond the horizon. But it's good to know the reef will be here when I return. It's had a claim on me since I was no older than my passenger. So we taxi out, my passenger and me, and lift off over the mangroves in the Silver Sea. We circle once, and my passenger looks down from the front cockpit. And I wonder if he can see an old man down there and a boy in a wood boat bowling along the flats. We fly toward tomorrow, and I know the reef is eternal and time is a circle. And it's my boy's son, my grandson, down there looking for the shadow of the bonefish, ghosting through the seagrass.